afternoon. It's Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. Yes, it is on this beautiful Friday morning. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and I am so excited. I'm going to have a cosmic conversation with Christopher Renstrom. Let me invite Christopher. There he is. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Christopher, you're already here, and I invited you. Yay!
Hi! I know, it's like, here I am.
I am so excited.
Me too. How are you doing today, honey?
I am doing well. Yes, I am. And I love talking to you and getting your wisdom because Christopher talks about astrology like no other. And I love your turns of phrase. Yes, I do. And
Oh, I
historical
love your
knowledge.
terms of phrase too.
Oh, thank you. Well, just in case anybody doesn't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Christopher Renstrom. I'm an astrologer, and let's see. You can find me actually on YouTube with Christopher Renstrom Astrology, which I'm really proud of. That's my regular YouTube channel, where I do monthly horoscopes or astrology topics that just sort of like sees me. Like we did an episode called The Astrology of Vincent van Gogh. So sometimes
Oh,
we do deep dives into people's charts or lives or even shows or movies. There's The Astrology of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Anyway, you can find all of that on YouTube, Christopher Renstrom Astrology. And we just launched Christopher Renstrom Astrology Salon, where if you join for $5 a month, you get a special video recording of a lesson that I'm doing in installments. And we start the elements this week with a whole deep dive into water. And then for $10 a month, you get the Christopher Renstrom Astrology Salon Live, where you get to come on and I'm live and you're live and we're all live, and we get to talk about the lesson or chart interpretation. Usually we do a mystery chart where we all work on interpreting a chart together and then talk about an upcoming transit. Anyway, it's loads of fun, loads of astrology, and yeah, it's something I really love doing a lot.
I love that. That is fabulous. I'll have to watch the Vincent van Gogh one. That sounds so interesting. He's
Oh,
fascinating.
that was a fun one because
Mhm.
it ties into the horoscope of Starry Night,
Ooh,
um,
okay.
which was supplied by Neil deGrasse
Tyson?
Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh,
actually said if you look at the painting, you can tell when this was painted from. Yeah, no, it's he did a wonderful little thing on his Instagram. He said because of the placement of the sun and the moon and Venus, you can tell when Starry Night was painted. And so once I had gotten the time, which he actually was able to do from, and then the place, which was this asylum that Van Gogh was in, I drew up a horoscope for Starry Night, and it ties into Vincent Van Gogh's horoscope. And that was a real special episode. I like doing that one a lot.
I love that. And what perfect thing to watch under the Pisces lunar eclipse,
Of
this
course.
beautiful art piece where they
Oh,
bring in the astronomy and the astrology with Uranus. Yeah.
actually, that's a great right. Where
Uranus
astrology and
retrograde. Yeah.
astronomy come together.
Yes, absolutely. I know Neil deGrasse Tyson has nothing good to say about astrology, but that's
I know, but
okay.
you know what? He got drafted.
He
I mean,
got
he
drafted.
provided the information, so
Oh my God. Well,
couldn't have done it without him.
mhm, absolutely. Well, today we wanted to talk about the solar eclipse in Virgo, and I'd love you to just give your take on Virgo and all of the archetypes or things or any history or whatever you want to share about
Oh
Virgo.
wow, there's so much to say about Virgo. I mean, like it's like one of my favorite signs, and it's one of my favorite signs to sort of rhapsodize and things like that about. To begin with, This solar eclipse is really important because it's taking place at the anaretic degree of Virgo. So it's taking place at 29 degrees. And although retrograde Saturn opposite is not anaretic, technically, it's 28 degrees, whatever.
Close
So it
enough.
might as well be. Okay, so it's an extraordinary opposition that's also taking place at the same time. And so it's really kind of drawing this line across the heavens. And, and you know, it being the anaretic degree, the 29th degree, the last degree, it's regarded as a critical degree in astrology. I like to sort of think of the anaretic degree as kind of like last call at a bar, you know, when they're like, they say it's last call. The staff wants to go home. The bartender wants to go home. You know, this is last call. There's still some people remaining and things like this. And it's just kind of like, can we go already? Because we're moving on to Libra tomorrow. Okay. Can we just like move on to the next? And
But
so
the
everything.
answer is no. Plus, people want some more drinks
I know,
before
exactly,
it changes
exactly.
sides.
So imagine that, like in Virgo, where like the service people are trying to like hustle them out of the bar. They're just kind of like,
And
dang
they're
it.
like holding with the 28. So it's at 29 Virgo and the 28 Saturn and
Saturn,
Pisces. They're like
exactly.
reaching for that last drink from the
And,
bartender.
and the drink is eluding your grasp.
Hmm.
No, but what it does is that it draws a line across the heavens, and it really is uh, do I stay or do I go type of opposition. And if I go, that means moving forward in life. And solar eclipses can be about a new direction. And so it would then mean that you're moving forward and you really have to say goodbye to everything that had come before. It's a whole new playing field, it's a whole new terrain, you know. And or if you decide I want to stay with what I have, then you have to see it through. You have to see it through to the end. You have to see it through to the end. You have to see it through with completion. So this solar eclipse is really about things, about a deadline, you know, and our relationship to deadline and our relationship to making that big decision we know that we should be making. But in this regard, it's making it consciously, not like I'm being forced to, or these, it's making it consciously. And so there really will be, for people especially who are responding to the Virgo or the Pisces energy, there really will be a stepping over the threshold and you can't go back
Hmm.
feeling to this particular eclipse. But we're seeing so many Virgo motifs because Virgo, you know, is the zodiac sign of work, health, and service. We're
Yeah.
seeing so many shakeups in health agency. We're seeing so many shakeups with workers, you know, with what's going on with the rounding up of, you know, whether it's immigrants who are working fields or whether it's people who are working in a Hyundai factory. Okay.
That
And
was an eclipse event.
that
That
was an eclipse event where South Korea had to come and get their workers and leave. Okay, it's just, and so this upset with the workers, with the common folk, which all fall under the auspices of Virgo, and that's because of Virgo's association to the Roman goddess Ceres, the Greek goddess Demeter, and she was the patron goddess of the plebs, of the workers, of, you know, the people who you know, went out and worked in the fields and did agriculture. So so she's always been this patroness of people in the service profession, and also the patroness of the underdog, of at times the disenfranchised or the downtrodden. We have to remember that civil rights reaches its peak and really affects the changes during the period of time that Uranus and Pluto were moving through Virgo in the 60s. So it's really the underclasses rising forward and saying, we're not going to be under, we are a part of this society. And it's also the protection of the labor force and also the body of the body politic, the body of people, the health. And so we're seeing all of these lines being drawn in the sand right now. Where do you stand? Are you with this, or are you not with this? And really people coming forward and saying, you can't do this to people. And that's very much a Virgoan, because Virgo is very much about service. It's very much a Virgoan ideal. It's very much a Virgoan principle.
And the South Node's there right now, and there's all
Right.
this desire to take, well, by the current administration, remove civil rights, turn back the clock, and all this kind of stuff. It's just the nature of the cycle, but we've got Pluto in Aquarius, so
Right.
the battle's not over. We'll see where we land. But yeah, that is so helpful to frame that. And I also
Yeah.
want you to talk about the maiden, because I think the maiden aspect of Virgo is especially important right now with the Epstein stuff going on.
It's well, you kind of just said it there, you know. But to me, Virgo has always been the zodiac sign of feminism, you know, whether
Mhm.
you're a feminist or not. Why? It's the only zodiac sign that is portrayed as a woman. All right. You know, people say, well, what about the flowing tresses of Aquarius or Gemini, the woman of, that's all recent stuff. Okay. 2,500 years, there was one zodiac sign that was a woman, and that was Virgo. I mean, okay, we didn't really know the gender of the crab, the scorpion, or the fish, but everyone else is bare chested with beards and flowing hair and male, you know? And so
Mhm.
you have this one zodiac sign that is a woman, and it's a Virgo, and it's a maiden, it's an unmarried woman. Okay,
Mhm.
a woman thrown on her own devices. So for people born under Virgo, women and men, there's kind of 2,500 years of patriarchy, like all wrapped up in that sign. And it is Virgo is the protectress of women. And Virgo being ruled by Mercury is all about how, as a woman, do you live in a man's world where men make up all the rules? You know, and of course, the Virgo response to that is you outwit them. You beat them
Mhm.
at their own game. So we have Virgo archetypes like Scheherazade, you know, who tells the story of the 1,001 Arabian Nights in order to forestall her beheading, okay, and actually ends up winning the heart and the soul of the king. You have Penelope at her loom, who outwits the suitors by weaving during the day and unweaving at night, and then weaving back during the day, because her promise to them was, when I finish with this tapestry, I will announce a suitor, whether my husband Odysseus comes home or not.
I was just
So,
talking about Penelope with someone the other day. That's so perfect that
isn't
you
she
brought that.
fantastic? I love Penelope. It's
Yes.
all about Penelope. So,
Mhm.
so, and then you have this idea of like the maiden. On one hand, the maiden is chaste and pure. So, does that make her desirable? You have the maiden and the unicorn. You know, the only person who could tame the unicorn, which represented wildness, was the maiden. The unicorn comes and, you know, responding to her purity, lays its head on her lap and is tamed by her. But then, you know, it also comes from this idea that in ancient Greece, women, or shall we say girls, were married off at 13
And they're
to
trying to do
men,
that in the United States again.
right, to men who were usually 28. Okay, so that whole phrase of, like, you know, saying that women are childish or whatever actually had a literal origin. They were children who were being married off like that. So there's that element involved. There's also, when you go into virginity, um, also the idea of taking the vow of chastity, which in the late ancient period was seen as a perversion. Who takes a vow of chastity in a world where the mortality rate is so high? You have to have children. This is a woman's function. So who, as a woman, takes a vow of chastity? Chastity. Okay, people's reaction nowadays, we laugh at chastity, but chastity back in the day, people's reaction to chastity was very analogous to transgender. Okay, because you were corrupting the body, you were corrupting the nature of your gender, you were not a functioning or a true woman or doing your job as a woman. So Virgo is the maiden, and Virgo is also the woman who is unmarried. Okay, and so Virgo's not just the maiden, but it's also the unmarried woman.
The
Okay,
childless cat lady.
you got it. And all the and what are women? What's a derogatory way of referring to a woman, but as a catty? So it's all of there's so much that's bundled up in Virgo. Virgo's more than just like the critical, cold or whatever. And it's like, and have we ever met a Virgo who's cold? Hello, no. It's like,
Mhm.
very warm and even fiery because it comes right at the end of summer. So there's a heated temperament to a Virgo. But again, so there's just so much going on with that zodiac sign, and Virgo's commitment to health care, midwifery, to a woman's body being sacrosanct, not something to be exploited or used, or back in ancient times, treated like a disposable object. If your wife died in childbirth, it was like not a big deal because you went and found another one to marry. So all of that. So Virgos carry with them. My motto or mantra that I often share about Virgo is they should have a T-shirt that says "You don't own me."
I
You know,
love that. I
and
love
Virgo is the "You don't own me" zodiac sign. It's like, I may serve you, I may help you, you do not own me, and I'm not something that belongs to you. And that is such a very powerful cornerstone, really, to Virgo.
And oh, there's a comment here. Anna Karina has uh, Venus in Virgo in the eighth house conjunct Pluto and Libra, and is really mentions that's potent devotion, and is very happy about you sharing the not so known side of Virgo and the
Yeah.
feminine nature and the feminist nature of it. So,
Oh, it's.
yes,
I think we start articulating feminism with Virgo. You know,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and look at those British series like Downton Abbey. Even it's like,
mhm.
who really runs the household? The people who own the house or the servants? It's the servants. Okay. and
Mhm.
and and what it is that, and as any servant knows, if you wait on someone hand and foot, you become more acquainted with their hands and feet than they do. And so
Absolutely.
by
I,
being of service is actually how Virgos create a niche for themselves in the world and make themselves indispensable. They make themselves so reliable that people are like, what would I do without you? And even in Downton Abbey, they start like assigning tasks to the servant, like, you take care of that, I can't take care of that. And so this is how Virgo becomes a very powerful image, but without ever giving away its hand, because it's so much about outsmarting, being better at the rules than the men who put those rules in place.
that makes me think about how Virgo's next to Leo. So Leo, that archetype of the upstairs in Downton Abbey, and the Virgo standing next, but in the a form of that inconjunct. It's like a blind spot where they don't actually see necessarily how how much the Virgo knows and is in control of things
Right.
until
Well, and
certain things
actually,
have
just
come.
with you mentioning Virgo and Leo, it puts me in mind of the Strength card from the Tarot,
Mhm.
because she's not dominating the lion; she's almost she's domesticating the lion, which of course was part of the interpretation of the maiden and the unicorn, which goes way back to medieval times. It's like it was
Mhm.
wildness versus the domesticity, and the idea that an animal could be domesticated or made friendly instead of seen as prey of the hunt or something that's going to hunt you.
Mm, I love that. That's so. Oh, I love talking to you about this stuff, and I want to throw this by you. So, are you okay to talk about the Epstein stuff for a little bit?
Sure, sure.
Yes. So I think this whole thing coming up at this time is very karmic, with the South Node in Virgo digging up this stuff from the past and bringing it to our attention in order for it to be dealt with. And there were six Epstein victims who were
Okay.
talking to Congress originally. And
Okay.
it reminds me of the Pleiades, how there were the six Pleiades,
The
and one
sisters.
was six sisters, and one had passed on, and with that Epstein stuff, that Virginia Guffey had passed on. So I think this is very like mythological in the time that we're in, and it really symbolizes all of this
Can you
Virgo.
tell me when that first hearing was, when they first spoke about
It
it?
was on the day that Mercury in Virgo squared Uranus in Gemini, and that
Okay.
was on September 3rd.
Okay,
Uh,
so this is the recent hearings. Okay, so
yes.
it's that. Okay, yeah. Well, and I think it's also going to come to a head as Mars goes into Scorpio and then squares Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, in many ways, we're seeing the evolution of the Me Too movement.
Hmm.
I mean, I think there was a feeling like, oh, Me Too is like on or whatever, but no, Me Too planted a seed, and we're seeing that
Well, now we're moving down to like
emerge.
children. I feel like this is what we're doing. I had written down earlier this year that for Uranus and Gemini, it would be stories of child abuse surface.
Sure.
And we don't normally think about Uranus as abuse, but it's an awakening of shocking stuff, and Gemini rules children.
Well, Uranus is going to be connected to a rebellion or a revolt.
Ah, yeah.
And you have a rebellion and a revolt when you're feeling abused or when you're feeling abused or used
Hmm.
in some sort of way. So it's the throwing off of that. And it also sort of, yeah, I mean, and again, these are like, these are girls, but now it's women who are bringing it forward because when they
Hmm.
were girls and addressing the whole sort of like, well, isn't that was then, this is now. And it's like, no, it's not, so it's very powerful and it's got legs. I mean, I think it's following on what was going on in Iran with the woman who wasn't dressed properly or
Masha
whatever and was
Amini.
arrested. And yeah, so this is and also remember that feminism comes out of the 60s.
Yes.
The 60s kind of begins with the pill, which is, we're going to take back our bodies. We're not going to just be, these bodies. And then out of the 60s and the early 70s, after we've had those transits of of Uranus and Pluto, but Pluto stays there longer, of course. It's the emergence of feminism, which is fascinating to me because when you put in sharp contrast, you've got the whole male manosphere, I don't know what it's like to be a man thing that's going on. You know?
Yeah,
So
well, there's all this rising backlash against women's rights right now that trying to take away, and there was something recently where they're trying to take away certain forms of birth control. Hmm.
yeah, and of course it's not gonna work because
No.
that genie's out of the bottle and
Yeah.
it's flying around,
Yeah.
and so that's very much so there's so much that is resonant. And then when you bring in healthcare, and how the issues around healthcare are going to transform, can't help but transform this country. We were transformed by COVID, which was a health crisis. And so
Mhm.
healthcare, and then of course the relationships to work and workers, whether it's an AI technological revolution where clearly no one thought about what do you do with all the people who are out of jobs, to getting rid of the people who were laboring, and indiscriminately because a quota has to be fulfilled. So there's a lot, which is counting. Virgo.
Virgo loves to count and account for things, and
Well,
I.
it's the scribe. It's the scribe. It's ruled by Mercury, the scribe. And what
Mhm.
did scribes do? But they kept accounts and records. So,
Mhm.
it's all very, very powerful, very, very prevalent right now.
It absolutely is. And I said, accountability begins was one of the things I wrote for this upcoming eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, because I feel like Virgo, you're getting together all the evidence that you have about something or all the
Right.
facts and the details. And then you're deciding and sorting through which are the most important. And we're going to have like a last quarter moon where the moon's in Gemini and the sun's in Virgo. So we're going to be
Hmm.
feeling that energy. And then when the you move it to 0 Libra, it's like you file your case or something like that. So you
Well, and
gather
doesn't
everything.
Mars, well, talk about following case, doesn't Mars go into Scorpio on the very day that the sun goes into Libra?
It's
Okay.
yeah,
So that's a Perry Mason, like bloodhounds on the trail, type of thing. It's like, yeah, no, it's really it's become quite the to do, and even like the idea of forensic evidence, it's very, because that there's a body, sort of flavor or whatever to even that phrase. So
yeah. I
yeah,
think forensic evidence is a big thing that we're going to be seeing over the next week. Like, yeah,
yeah.
people,
And it's not gonna go away. I mean,
yeah.
the other image that came to me just with the because I was watching those women talk, you know um on Capitol Hill, and it was really amazing. Saying you're not going to quash us, and then the elite was saying, well, we're not going to listen to them and all these sorts of things, and I was like, I guess everyone forgot about the women who marched to Versailles
Oh,
and
tell us about.
started the French Revolution.
Oh, yeah, tell us about. Oh, I didn't realize it was women who started the French Revolution.
Yeah, the price of bread, it was astronomical.
Oh, yeah,
And so they get together and they march from, I guess, Paris or whatever to Versailles,
that's a long
to
walk.
protest what is what is going on. And that's
Yeah.
the origin, that's the beginning of the French Revolution. So, you can't silence women's voices.
Mhm.
you know, you really
At
can't,
your own peril, you can try.
at your own peril. Well, where would the civil rights movement have been without women?
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. And
yeah.
it's so interesting. There was a British ambassador who was called back and fired for being part of the Epstein stuff. And there are
Okay.
now a hundred of the survivors who are getting together a list. They're
Which
creating a list of people. And this eclipse is of the Saros Series 9S. And Bernadette Brady says it deals with worries about a loved one, health, paperwork, or communication. And yeah, so we have this birthday book that has surfaced. It's a leather bound book apparently that Jeffrey Epstein
the
got for
scribe, right?
his birthday, his 50th birthday when Mercury was retrograde. So the book has a life and it's come back.
Right. Well, and is Epstein? He's either a 29 Capricorn or a 0 Aquarius.
0 Aquarius.
The,
His birth certificate was in the book, so now we have his birth information. He was born at 6:15 a.m., making him a Capricorn rising, and Saturn exalted in Libra is
Libra.
his chart ruler,
Okay.
and
Well,
rules his
then, I
second
mean,
house of finances. Conjunct Neptune, which we're having in Libra, and we're having a Saturn Neptune conjunction currently.
right. Okay. So this is. Am I correct in saying that this is the first Mars in Scorpio square Pluto and Aquarius that we've
Hmm.
had? Okay. Well then, and they're the two ruling planets of Scorpio. So yeah, it is all coming out, and it's like it's like, I guess Donnie shouldn't have tried to screw Epstein on that real estate deal a while ago. Guess that wasn't a
Oh.
good idea.
Oh, even more better karma. Turn around, yes.
But I think more importantly, it's really it's and I think it's fascinating. Also and it's so Pluto and Aquarius, isn't it? The changing alliances. I mean, did you ever
Mhm.
think that you would see Marjorie Taylor Greene siding with the victims of
No,
Epstein and
no,
becoming a proponent?
yeah.
And that is just extraordinary. I mean,
She's
I don't know about
positioning
you. Sure didn't
herself
see
for the
that one coming,
presidency.
huh?
She's positioning herself for the presidency. It's really interesting watching what's going on and what people who I normally didn't agree anything with that just said starting to make some sense as they move towards the center. Yeah.
Or move towards new. constellations,
Oh, okay.
move towards new groupings, new
Mm-hmm.
alliances, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what I think all of this is really ultimately about. I mean, I didn't just bring up the French Revolution to bring up the French Revolution. We are living through the Pluto return of the United States Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone made a big deal about the Pluto return of the United States, but I was much more interested in the Pluto return of the United States Constitution, which also takes place at the time that Uranus is discovered. And during this period of time that Pluto is in Aquarius, the last time, you have the emergence of the US Constitution and the French Revolution both taking place. So this is the period of time when you had democracy really introduced to the world, or the Western world, on this huge plane. So to see this returning right now, where everyone's like, this is so against the Constitution. Well, it's kind of almost like Pluto's challenge, which is basically echoing Benjamin Franklin's statement. When someone says, do we have a constitution? And Benjamin Franklin says, you have a republic if you can keep it.
Mm.
And that was the sort of challenge that Benjamin Franklin, and it comes and it echoes today. You have a republic
If you
if
can
you
keep
can
it.
keep it.
Do you know
Yeah.
what degree Pluto was at when the Constitution was written?
Oh, really great question. Really great question, which is like, no, I don't.
Okay. I'll have to research that.
It's earlier, so
Mm.
it's probably within maybe like the first 10-ish degrees would be my
Okay.
guess,
Yeah.
of where it is. But it's definitely what's going on right now,
Mhm.
and so it's going to be fascinating also to sort of follow what's going on with the rise of Christian nationalism,
Mhm.
where there's an insistence that women return to, and so the people that you thought would have championed that, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, no, I'm not returning to the home, and I'm standing up for women's rights. So I think, have you ever made a jigsaw puzzle? Have you ever like put together a jigsaw
Yes,
puzzle?
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and that point where you're like insistent that those pieces should go together and they're just not going
They
together, no
just
matter
don't
what you do.
fit. Yeah.
And sometimes you just sort of have to take a chunk of the puzzle and throw it back in the puzzle box and give it a good shake, and then take it back out again and see what you could do. That's what I think we're going through right now. It's like, I think we're going to have new constellations. We're going to have new alliances. We're going to have new
I think
uh,
so.
conversations that are going on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my goodness, it's like, I was raised with a family of boys. It's like, tackle the pigskin. Okay. It's like, who's ever got, you throw the football out there, whoever grabs it and everyone jumps on them. It's like, it's crazy right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is absolutely crazy. And I think I really love how you said that there are new constellations, new alliances being made, new people discovering, because all this division cannot, nothing good is coming of it. So there's
Well,
got
a
to
house
be.
divided cannot stand,
Hmm.
and of course, the last time Uranus was in Gemini was the Civil War,
Hmm.
or not the last time, one of the last times that it was
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But,
two times ago. But the
right,
United States is always in a conflict when Uranus is in Gemini because that's our just our natal Uranus is
right.
return is coming in
Actually, the
Capricorn.
last time we had Uranus in Gemini and Neptune in Aries was the Civil War.
Okay, and we have both of those now,
And we have
plus
both of those
Pluto
now.
and Aquarius. But
Right. It was
I
in
am
Taurus during the
calling,
Civil War, but now it's in Aquarius. Yeah.
yeah, I am calling in a peaceful revolution. It may be, I don't care if I'm being Pollyanna. This
No,
is
I
what
love it. I love
I'm
it.
calling in with Saturn and Neptune and Aries. I could see this vision, and I'm holding this vision of like soldiers somewhere in the world saying, "Rich man, we're not fighting your wars for you anymore," and dying and putting their weapons down and standing together with the people.
Yeah, I don't think it would be like a civil war in the way that it was,
Mm-hmm.
but I think certainly, the uptick in political violence,
Mm-hmm.
the states performing a kind of potential succession with the redistricting and the different lines being drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I and that coming to the fore. But I think what it's really about, well, it's about all of those things. Pluto rules over what's underneath the floorboards of your horoscope, right? You
Hmm.
know, and is it a treasure, a hidden treasure, or is it rot? You know, that's the two things that it's going to be. And the Constitution was created to be anti-king, and that's what we're facing right now.
Hmm.
And one of the big sellouts, a fatal sellout, it's called the original sin of the United States of America, was slavery. You
Hmm.
know, which is still being dealt with, and still, you know, and then you've got people who are trying to like erase the history, and it's like you can't, you know,
Hmm.
you can't erase that because it's not history, it's the people, you know,
Exactly.
and that's what it is. You have to like try to erase the people, you know, and so Pluto is bringing all of that to the fore because Aquarius to me is a zodiac sign that says, you know, society is only as good as the people in it, you know, and that's
Absolutely.
Aquarius's kind of challenge to all of us. And so this is kind of, I think it's less about civil war. I think it's about revolutionary more than revolution. And I think it's about fulfilling the original American experiment
Mhm.
and taking it forward. You know, it's the asteroid series, by the way, is discovered, you know, because to me, Ceres is so linked to Virgo. But
Yes.
the asteroid series, the discovery of the asteroid series takes place with the purchase of the breadbasket states in the United States of
Ah.
America, which were, yeah, it's a Louisiana purchase. It's all the purchase of all that land outside the colony, which became colonies, which became known as the breadbasket, which is
Mhm.
so Ceres, Demeter, you know, like because it's wheat, you know, and things like that. And so um, we have this promise that's connected to our nation, and I think it's all about fulfilling that promise and then going forward. You know, so we shall see.
Yeah, and with all the farmers struggling right now because they've
Yeah,
lost the farmers that grew soy or whatever for
breadbasket, right?
foreign lands. I mean that's China's not coming back to you, buddy. So you're going to have to figure something else out.
Yeah,
And
that's what happens when decisions are being made by people who aren't connected to the land.
hmm
You
yeah,
know,
no,
and so it's again, and then what's the worker identity going to be post AI? You know,
absolutely.
so it's, I heard this wonderful quote the other day. You know, it was two academics were talking about, you know, does history repeat itself? You know, and this one academic said, whether history repeats itself or not, I don't know, but all I know is that the only thing we have to learn from is history.
Mhm. Exactly. Yes. We
Which,
can't learn from the future because we haven't experienced it
because it's
yet.
not there yet, right?
Hmm. Uh, and it really feels like we're in this, like everything keeps repeating in different ways. It's like all the stories ever in the world feel like they're converging in on each other at times right
Yeah,
now.
but
Hmm.
or I have a favorite show. I don't know whether you've watched it. It's oh, why am I going up on it? It's the I just went up on it. I can't believe it. I have a favorite show that I just went up on. What you're seeing is Mercury and Sagittarius taking place.
I love Mercury and Sagittarius. That's
Lotus,
my
White Lotus.
oh, White Lotus. That was such a. I loved the last season. It was so
I
good.
love the whole show. I love
Yes.
the whole show. But I remember that the title of the third season, the title of the first episode of the third season was Same Spirits, Different Faces.
Ooh. Mm. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Uh, oh, there's some comments here. Oh, someone asked, do we think Penelope was a Virgo? She very well could have been. And
I'd go, yeah.
yeah. And then Amazing Days named Katrina means pure. And wondering how many people can coordinate their names with their charts.
Oh,
I don't. You can
wow.
look for your. You can go on
Really
astro.com and
interesting.
find the asteroid associated with your name and find where it is in your chart. I know you can do that. There's ways
But
to
I
do that.
love the idea. Come on, Celeste, Celestial. Come on. It's
Well,
like
I'm a Taurus sun, Aries moon, and Cancer rising, so I don't know if Celeste correlates with any of those.
Taurus sun. What was that breakdown again?
Taurus sun, Aries moon, Cancer rising.
I say, yeah. I just say it's because you're an astrologer
Yeah.
and it goes like that.
And what's your big three again? I know you're a Capricorn, right?
Capricorn, Pisces moon,
Oh.
and I go back and forth on this next one. I'm sorry. And
Oh,
so
that's
we
right. You're on the cusp, right?
so I'm either 29 Aries or 0 Taurus. So
Ah.
I
I
don't know
thought the
where I
decision
fall.
was 29 Aries.
And then it swings back to 0 Taurus. So what can I say? What can I say? What
Yes.
can I do? Type of thing.
Mm.
But I'm kind of loving the Taurus rising because it's just, there's a beauty to Taurus. There's a
Mhm.
beauty to Aries. I mean, I can see both, quite frankly, show up.
Yes.
In my horoscopes.
Yes.
Right, right,
Mm.
right. But yeah, no, it's just really, yeah, I was going to say rising sign ruled by Aries, moon, sun, celestial to me. Exactly.
Yeah. And,
Exactly.
uh, oh, okay. And the South Node is headed towards Leo. Yes, it is, Pale Sala. We're going to next summer, next July, the South Node enters Leo.
Just
And
in time for
the heads
conjunctions
of
with
kings will
Jupiter.
roll. That makes me think heads of kings will roll.
Well, conjunction to Jupiter and Leo.
Hmm. Yeah. How do you think that's going to show up? Oh, the South Node with Jupiter. Oh my God. Yeah. Ah.
Honey, that's like a guy showing up without the Viagra, South Node next to Jupiter and Leo.
Yeah. Oh, so someone's asking about their nodal return. Yes, I'm having my nodal return right now. I have a Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node. And what I'm finding is so what's happening is there's this pulling on both sides. So my South Node tendencies are being scooped up, scooped out by the South Node Virgo and coming to
Mhm.
light for me to recognize and deal with them. And remember, I need to move towards that North Node, that surrender, trusting my intuition rather than agitating on the dissecting everything all the time, which is a talent, but sometimes you need to let it go, or over analysis, or anxiety about everything that's going on is magnified.
I'm going to be moving into uh, reverse nodal return, which always sounds to me like a
Ooh.
Nadia Comaneci gymnastics routine.
Yes, well, that's
I'm
kind of how
going to
you have to
perform the reverse
navigate
nodal
your.
return on the sawhorse or something like that.
That's how you have to navigate this reverse nodal return. I feel like.
Yeah, so I mean, it's fun. It's so funny. I don't know whether you have this experience with astrology or not. Um, but over the years that I've been practicing astrology, I would learn, the astrology and the techniques and all those sorts of things, but not all of it really was an available paintbrush to me, where it didn't feel
Mhm.
like a paintbrush or a color that I wanted to work with, and but as you go on with your practice, you kind of like hit these places. For me, I hit these places in my life where all of a sudden it's like, maybe it's about being open to learning what Chiron is right now,
Mhm.
or I mean, for me, I ignored Chiron for decades, but then like 5 years ago, I became obsessed with it, or a quincunx. I was just like, oh, what a ridiculous idea. What an ugly word,
And now
Now
you're
I'm
teaching
obsessed.
about it.
I'm obsessed with quincunxes, and so it's like you hit these points where, I mean, do you have that experience where you just don't have a feeling for this, and then
Absolutely.
suddenly it
Absolutely.
dings?
Especially if you experience the transit and then you're like, oh, that's it. That's how it shows
Yeah,
up.
it's like, oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then
Well,
all the
I was
other
expecting
astrologers
my
in the
nodal
room are,
return to be more, oh, I'm just going to be moving into that Pisces. Oh, it's going to be so beautiful. And it's like, hold up. That south node is magnified
oh,
too. And
my
it's pulling, and
dear.
it's pulling, and it's forcing you to recognize it and deal with it or ignore it and then let it spill all over the place. But
My dear, it's kind of like where I nodal returns. It's so funny. I'm such a ridiculous person because whatever I know that whatever I'm like, I don't know, and like make fun of it, I know I'm going to be obsessed with it in like 5 or 7 years. Okay, like that's always the giveaway with me. And so when I was teaching here, and I was just like, nodal returns, and people are like, no, people taking this seriously. I'm like, "Ugh, whatever, type of thing, right? Also, and then now it's like completely, and then this one, the reverse Nadia Comaneci nodal return on the sawhorse or whatever it is. It's
I'm
like
going to use that. Is this so? Do you have a north node in Virgo?
conjunct Pluto.
Oh, wow. Mm,
Yeah. And so, and then a moon in Pisces, but they're not really opposite. I mean,
mm.
the node is 8 degrees and the Pluto's 8 degrees. They're exactly conjunct. And
Ah.
then the moon is 15 Pisces. But boy, oh my, did I, this whole year has been like, whoa. And I was like, huh. And then, huh. And whoa. Okay. So I just want everyone to know that astrologers, even though they've been practicing for decades, like moi, it's just like we still have the huh, oh, woo, hey, where it hits.
Absolutely. Yes, that perverse Nadia Comaneci is really getting
Nadia
you with.
Comaneci, backflip off the sawhorse.
I love that. Yeah. So yeah, so just could be. I think Radha was talking about. You're going to have your nodal return
Mhm.
awareness of what is going on and how you notice the switch is going to help you move through it. So that's the beauty of astrology. It's like even if you get caught up or tangled up in the transits, at least you could have some recognition of what it.
Yeah,
Ah.
well, to me, the reverse nodal return really felt like having put a shirt on inside out.
Mm.
Okay, so it was
Mhm.
just kind of like having to, and as you negotiate trying to put the shirt on, it's not going the way that it was. And so it's
Mhm.
really about being in that inside out
Yeah.
place. And that to me would be the best description I could give of it personally, of just like,
Mhm.
and it's very revealing and very illuminating more than revealing, I would say,
Illuminating. And
and
which side do you feel like you're having the most illumination on, or both sides?
well, just as well, actually, I'll just sort of go ahead and share it. It's a little personal, but I have Meniere's disease,
Oh,
which
okay.
you have no idea how you get it, and
Mhm.
it affects the inner ear, but it also can take away hearing, it
Oh,
goes
okay.
through. And one of the things is vertigo. All right. So
Ah,
how Neptunian? Okay. So
yeah.
so um so in the past number of weeks, it got out of control.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And
As we
so,
move towards the
I've been,
eclipses. Mm.
yeah, and I've been on this one sort of medication for it. And
Hmm.
it just, not only was it not working, but it had led to two drop attacks, which is what they call them, where your body suddenly collapses, but you don't lose consciousness.
Oh, oh
Okay. So
no.
you
Okay.
lose your core muscles,
Oh.
and and so this was body. Okay, your body is not, you have to like focus on your body here, and you have to change. So it led on a whole labyrinthine journey, with going to different doctors and things like that. A
Uh-huh.
number of them, had I followed what they had done, would have been a disaster. And
Mm.
so the meds that were getting worked with or whatever would give me this sort of um, like pressure in the temples, but also a little bit not groggy, but a little high. was
Mm.
actually the best way to do it. So
So
the readings were,
that North Node in Pisces, you
honey, the
really
readings
feel
were
it.
the readings were as Pisces moon as you could get. It was,
Uh,
it was just kind of like, and the writing and the stream of consciousness and everything like this. It was extraordinary. I mean, it was such a like, it was so rich,
mhm.
but also this kind of like sense of being off balance and whatever. Well, we've worked it out and come up with reverse meds to what I was taking before.
Ah,
Complete reverse, okay, which is
wow.
kind of the reverse Nadia Comaneci,
Ah,
nodal return. And so what it was is that it was for, I had always been, I've got Pluto next to my North Node in the
mhm.
sixth. So I'm like work, health, service. So it's just like I work, I
Yeah,
work, I work. And
yeah,
I was losing hours of work days to this,
yeah,
because when the Meniere's kind of takes over, that vertigo takes over, it could be about 2.5 hours before I'm back online again.
yeah.
So I had to deal with all of that. I mean, a
Mhm.
Capricorn, Pluto conjunct North Node, and
And the
it's just,
Capricorn losing all control
oh my
over
God.
being able
And
to keep things
over work
orderly.
schedule, right? All of this. But at the same time, it's just like, I was doing readings and it was just like, how'd you, it was almost like, the Pythia or something, of Apollo. It was just
It was just coming through you, that Pisces.
coming on. So
Yeah.
I had literally, it was like having my shirt on inside out, and I had to
Mm,
honor both sides, that I had to give it up to work because I was on a Pisces journey. I had to
mhm,
let the current take the boat wherever it was going to go. But
mhm,
I got to it. I got to the shore and things are now fine and I'm recovering. But it wasn't just about solving the problem. I am enriched by that
mhm.
experience. And I can't even believe that I shared that. Like whatever, but
Well,
it
that's helpful for people to know, and sometimes these things literally, I mean, astrology can show up very literally. And with Pluto, it's about feeling almost like out of control, your greatest fear surfacing, or, um, yeah, yeah, or feeling enslaved by something. And like
yeah.
yeah, so that gives extra understanding of you going through this Pluto transit with the South Node
Yeah. Well,
coming through.
and it was, and there were so many different ways to see it too, because I'm very
Hmm.
early Capricorn, and so Neptune
Hmm.
square the Sun in Cap. So was that, the heady, trippy, so
Well, it
and then
all comes
Sagittarius.
together at once, and it gives you the story. Mm.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's really important, to sort of like communicate, is that it's not about whether your forecast came true or not, or
Yeah.
I nailed it, or whatever. It's just when you read a chart, I had ideas of what this could be, but I also had assurances that I would be able to work through
Hmm.
this. But then I didn't know everything there was to know. And so, and as I went through this and I could sort of relate it back to the chart, it becomes very deepening and very, enriching in terms of experience. And it's just really, and that to me is like what astrology gives, that not even a great book or a fabulous piece of music can give.
Hmm.
It just gives that, like what's that thing? Tuning fork. It just gives that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just like, you become attuned to that. And it's just such a wonderful thing. I'm also very happy to be on the other side of it, knock on wood.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Virgo rules health, so it makes a total
Virgo's health.
sense.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Oh, and Anna said they're so happy that, you know, so many Virgo clients are so on the brainwashed to the picky side of Virgo and not living their own curative, feminine, natural, simple wisdom and subtle poetry of Virgo.
Oh,
Mm.
Virgo is just such a beautiful, it's just such a, I love Virgo. I just
Mhm.
love I was telling this story, if I may, very, very quickly.
Please.
My husband is a artistic director of a ballet company, and before we we became, associated to this company. The previous company that he worked with was a very, very well-known company, and he was an associate artistic director. But he was there at a period of time where the original co-artistic director had just moved the company to another city, and they were facing financial difficulties. And so the artistic director that he was working with, that he was the associate to, always wanted to do small little ballets because that would make money, but it wasn't what the company was known for, and the houses weren't filling because they wanted the big ballets that the company was known for. So they had an argument. He convinced him to bring in this ballet that they had done, Taming of the Shrew. And so they delivered the set, and the day they delivered the set, it was my husband, that artistic director, and then this wonderful woman who had been dancing with the company for years. And they opened up the trunk, and out dropped this backdrop with a loud bang, and it was like almost like a solid rock. Now this is supposed to be a scrim that hangs delicately, and it's like a solid rock, and it hadn't been touched in 23 years. And so the artistic director of this company turns to my husband and says, "It's your fault. We're going to lose money. I told you we weren't able to do that. It's your fault. And, this is happening because of you." And he was like, "Well, we have to push. We have to whatever to get back. We need to." And so as they're arguing, one's flipping out over it's your fault. We put all this money into a production that's going to be done. And the other one's like, we have to. The woman goes and very quietly starts unpeeling the different corners of the backdrop. That's all she's doing. She's finding a way to unstick them and unpeel it.
Okay. Fixing the problem rather than pointing fingers.
To me, and they both turned and looked at her do, and it's an impossible task. She can't do the whole thing by herself, but that's what she was doing. And they both turned to her, and they stopped arguing, and they joined her in unpeeling eventually someone's going to come in with a heat thing or whatever and steam it or whatever, but that's where they stopped and quietly went about the work.
Yes.
And to me, that is Virgo. That ability to do that, and
to just do the work. You don't need a lot of applause. You just get it done and do it well on the high road.
You don't need the applause, but you center it, and you save the production because you brought people who are, So to me, that just and we have a word for it, which is the humility of work, but it makes it sound too sanctimonious. The humility is in the simplicity of doing that work. Yeah.
Humility is a word that needs to make a comeback. I think it really is.
Oh, honey, we're in
Oh, you know what Beyonce of Virgo says? Always be humble. Your best revenge is your paper.
The devil's in the footnotes.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. Oh, thinking of Delacroix, the flag bearer is a
Delacroix,
Virgo.
the painter, right?
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with. Yeah, someone's lodging a claim against their landlord. Okay. Mystical Risings analyzes medical charts by day, astrology charts by night.
And what a wonderful way to join them, right?
Yes.
What a wonderful way to join them.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any other comments. Oh, so Anna thinks Pluto. We're at the doorstep of what Pluto has up its star sleeve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we all know that that's going to take a while to come on out.
Oh yeah, and Anna Karina's in Brazil. Notice all this was a South Node eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Pisces. Notice all the leaders, like on the day of the lunar eclipse and since then, who have been taken down or what have you. What is it? Nepal, Japan, and France prime ministers all stepped down. Yeah, it's a time. And Bolsonaro going to jail. I'm so happy that Brazil.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that is Virgo or how much of that is the Pluto and Aquarius, because that's what was
Mm.
going on when Pluto was last in Aquarius. You have the overthrow of King George and then setting up a constitution. Like, we didn't get invaded right away by another country. That you
Mhm.
have the French Revolution. So it really is. It's really quite. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Uh,
someone's asking for a history and astrology book. I would say Cosmos and Psyches by Richard Tarnas, Cosmo and Psyche. Any other books that you would recommend, Christopher, about looking at history through the lens of
I
astrology?
would recommend checking out Christopher Renstrom Astrology on YouTube, because that's where I do it on a regular basis.
Absolutely, everybody. That's where you
Christopher
go to
Renstrom Astrology on YouTube, not Astrology Hub where I do appear, and I love
Yes.
that, but
Mhm.
it's my own channel, CRA, Christopher Renstrom Astrology on YouTube, and you're going to get more than just like the cycles and the repeating whatever. Sorry, I'm letting my bitchy side show. You're going to get the story. You're going to get the story. It's that goes along with it, and Joe Santos, don't you,
Yes.
Celeste? Yeah,
Yes.
he's my producer, and we just did a wonderful episode on Uranus and Gemini, and it does the cycles, but you get the whole story, you get the through line, you get the images, you get all of that stuff.
Ah.
And there's lots of images. You're going to be looking at images, paintings, clips, not charts in a transit. It's
Oh, I
like
love
TV.
that.
It's like
Yes.
it's like TV.
And Christopher will be at UAC,
Yes, I
right?
will.
You're presenting. We're both presenting at the
You're
United
presenting. I know. I
Astrology.
love that you're presenting. I love it when you present
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're both presenting next year at the United Astrology Conference.
in
So in
Chicago.
Chicago, Illinois. So if you can come, I recommend it. Absolutely. We are going to have a fabulous time. Yeah. Oh,
Well, UX always so much fun. And what topics are you lecturing on?
I am lecturing on the nodes and talking about
I've got to
the
go to that one.
mundane, like the things we can. I really feel like the lunar nodes speak to what the collective is going through at the time. Well, I
Oh,
really feel like that's what it does. And so I'm talking about it more, helping people understand that bigger picture of what the nodes are doing and how it's, and yeah, and what's coming up over the next several years based on the
yeah,
switches of the nodes is what I'm going to be talking about. What's your
fantastic.
topic?
I've got two. I'm talking about Mars because I think Mars is long overdue and very timely,
Mhm.
and so we're going to be looking at the background of Mars, but also Mars as it shows up in the signs and in the chart, and what do you do with Mars,
Mhm.
and so that one I'm really, really looking forward to. And then also I'm going to be talking about Gavin Arthur. I'm not.
Who's
You
that?
saw that? I think you saw that at OPA or whatever. The Circle of Sex.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How Gavin Arthur, who is the grandson of Chester A. Arthur, the president,
Oh, okay.
was the first to really articulate. He was working with the idea of astrology and the spectrum of gender and sexuality, and he did that in like 1960 was the first thing. So I'm going to give the background to that and then the breakdown of it. He doesn't really do it in an astrological way, but it certainly sets down a lot of what astrology then takes on, in a particularly in the post-Jungian astrology. So yeah, no, Mars is that, but also this is kind of like one of my ideas of the title of Mars was how to train your Mars, like how to train your dragon, but it is the idea of training the Mars, of working with the Mars, and so that we're going to be definitely getting into
How to Train Your Mars. I
how
love
to
it.
train your Mars. I know they gave me a goober title, like like Mars management. I was like, what? But it's really kind of like how to train your Mars,
Hmm.
how to work with that Mars, because if it dominates you, that's not good. You know,
Yes.
if you work with it, then it's good. Don't you love how Marsilio Ficino just like had it all like, have you ever read Marsilio Ficino?
I have not.
He is so wonderful. There's actually even a wonderful book, okay, which
Okay.
is
The plan is
it's
within.
yeah, and it's by Thomas More, who was kind of famous about maybe 15 or 20ish years ago. But this
Okay.
was his astrology book that he wrote. He wrote like one.
Ah,
And it's about the astrological psychology of Marsilio Ficino. He's a Florentine um, astrologer. He starts a whole circle of
uh-huh.
philosophy or whatever. But he's the one who really, and this is back in the Renaissance, or shall I say Renaissance? No, this is
Mm.
back in the Renaissance when he said, a planet is an enemy if you treat the planet as an enemy. But if you make a friend to the planet begins to show you what it can do. So he's basically
Absolutely.
treating, you know, a malefic planet like a Mars or Saturn. If you treat it like the 13th fairy, okay, like in Sleeping Beauty, like you don't invite her, you know, to the christening of Aurora, you know, then you end up with a spindle pricking Aurora and Aurora going to sleep for 100 years. Okay, then you end up with something bad if you treat the malefic like that. But if you treat the malefic as a friend, the malefic begins to talk to you and you begin to not only appreciate the malefic's presence in your life, but the gifts that the malefic
I've
has
been
to give.
appreciating Pluto so much more, and I think that's very helpful. And I have Saturn on my sun, so I have no choice but to.
I know why you got to deal with that one.
Oh, here's a question from Mystical Risings. The King Kungs class, where are you teaching that? Astrology Hub or somewhere else? Isn't it ESAR?
We tried, but we didn't get enough people for that. I really want to do. Let's start a popular movement. I want to do quincunx as a workshop at one of these
Well, let's do a
conferences.
workshop together. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that'd
Okay,
be
we're
great.
going to do it. Christopher and
Yeah,
I are doing a workshop.
because I'd love to do it because but I do want to teach it as a, but I'm probably going to also do it on CRA at
Okay.
some point. I'll set up a CRA. I know that Chiron's slated for that, and I can't wait to get
Yeah.
the classic asteroids, and really unpack their stories, you know, and things like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I
Mars and
love a
Leo,
Queen Kungs too, so I would love to talk.
I love a good quincunx. Yeah,
Yes.
we should. That would be fun. I love a good
Well,
quincunx.
any other wisdom you want to? Oh, hi, Serene inside. Nice to see you. I was at the Kepler Symposium last week. That
How
was
was that?
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful in Niagara Falls.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Oh how wonderful. I know. Oh.
Yes, and my transits class starts on Monday for anyone who wants to take it for Kepler College. Yes, but
Yay.
anything else you want to share about this eclipse coming up? Anything, any last advice for people?
The funny thing is, although this eclipse is taking place at the anaretic degree, we have another eclipse in Virgo. So it's not the last of the Virgo eclipses, you know. I think we've got one next year, don't we still?
No, they're in
Or is it
Leo and Aquarius and Pisces next year.
for all of next
I
year?
think so. I think this is the only Virgo eclipse. So
I know, which is
notice.
so weird. Yeah,
Notice we
don't
had three Aries.
we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo
Oh, yeah, we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo.
in
Sorry.
March 2026.
That's right. Sorry.
Um, oh my God, you're so like, that's right, sorry. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Who cares about that lunar
but,
eclipse? We
but
all
then they
care about
go
that
in.
lunar eclipse.
Is something at five Pisces next year?
Yeah, there's a lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th of next
Oh,
year.
okay. So there are two more lunar, but this is the only solar eclipse in
A
Virgo.
Virgo, and I think wasn't our last one like 15 years ago or something like that?
It was a long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Like Virgo gets
2006.
one solar eclipse or something. I was like, thanks.
We had three solar eclipse, North Node solar eclipses in Aries, and now we have one solar eclipse in Virgo. That's a South Node eclipse at 29 degrees. So,
So there Aries does it again. It goes and eats Virgo's lunch. That's what Aries is always doing to Virgo, just eating their lunch. That looks good. And Virgo's like,
that is so true.
isn't it?
That's like the jock snatching the captain of
The
the chess
nerds,
club
the nerds.
sandwich off
Right.
the their plate.
And then
Oh
crushing
my
it on their
god.
forehead.
Yes. Well, oh my god, I love talking to Sandy San Diego Astrology wants you to come do your King Kungs there. So,
Oh, would love it. Tell me
yeah,
when and
so
where and how we make it happen, and we will.
so reach out to Christopher.
Promise. Want to
Yeah.
put together a workshop? Because I'd love to do it as a workshop.
Yes. Oh, I did a workshop for San Diego Astrology. It was a wonderful experience.
Did you have a? I did a lecture for them. I don't. I
Mhm.
did two lectures for them. I did Trash Astrology and the Secret History of Saturn for them,
Oh.
and I
Mm.
love San Diego Astrology.
Well,
You know.
they love you too. They got to let, yes, please. Deal done. I'm always, I'm a deal maker. Okay, now.
Honey, that's your
The
Venus ruled
mediator.
Taurus. That's your Venus ruled Taurus, bringing people together.
And my Venus is in Gemini.
Okay, oh, and talking about it.
hmm Absolutely. Taking credit for that when I didn't do anything but say it.
Honey, the secret of Gemini. Well, you know what the secret is of Sagittarius?
No, what's the secret?
Sagittarius is such a great storyteller that if they hear another person tell a story and it's like really great, they'll tell it again as if it had happened to them.
It's after my boo is a Sagittarius.
Because it's all about the good line and the good story, and who like I can embellish it so much further than what you did with that story. So the
They tell
freely
it better.
they tell it better.
Oh my God, this was so much fun, Christopher. So everybody, you can follow Christopher here on Instagram and definitely follow his YouTube channel because it's magic. Christopher Renstrom Astrology, right?
Oh yeah,
On YouTube.
it's so much fun. You guys would love it. I love it. Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
Yes,
We do
yes.
get serious, but it's a fun serious. I don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you ever have guests?
No.
Oh,
Ah!
okay.
You
No,
know
you just
why?
what?
No, you want to know why? It's because the channel has so much imagery and
Mm.
reels and things like that. It's kind of like a TV show, and that's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like how it's set up. But that isn't to say that I can't start having them on the live.
Well, if you
That
ever want me to come on, I'm
you know
happy
what?
to.
Oh, let's San Diego Astrology. Okay, let's talk about that because it would be great to have you like on a Christopher Runs from Astrology live.
I'd
Where
love
we.
that.
Ooh, do you want to come on and do a mystery chart?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, now do you know the premise of the mystery chart?
I could, I could make it up in my head, and you could tell me. We don't know anything but the chart, right?
You get right. And it's not even about getting who the person is, but reading the chart and then when the reveal is done, seeing how much of it, you know. And so if you come on as a guest, that means I pick the mystery chart.
Okay.
You get it a half an hour before.
Okay.
No trying to figure out who the person is or whatever. Okay. And then you're on the spot.
Okay.
You want to
I'm an
come on and
Aries
do a
moon.
mystery
I'll
chart?
do it. I'll do it.
Honey,
I'm
that would be
willing
so great.
to
Okay,
risk
and have
making
you
a
on.
fool of myself to do it.
Oh, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful fun because it's like, you're just kind of like, where the hell am I going with the mystery chart? It's just like, but they're fun. And it's amazing because it's not about guessing the person, although 2 times ago someone did. And I was like, oh my
Mm.
God, and it was like, and it was Giuseppe Verdi, okay? the
Ah,
opera composer. And so I was like, oh, it's
okay.
Verdi. And it's like, how the hell did you get like Verdi? But Joe like quickly took like they didn't even enter the chat because he didn't want to give it away. But you sweat a million, when
Yeah,
you're
oh,
doing it. But it's
absolutely.
also like a lot of fun because you're like thrown into it and like you have to like, yeah.
That would be good for me.
Well, honey, we're having you on to do a mystery chart.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. We better go before Instagram kicks us off.
Oh,
But
okay.
thank you, thank you,
I
thank
miss
you.
you. I always
I
miss
miss you
you. I love
too. This
and
was so
adore you.
fun.
Okay.
Bye,
Take care,
Christopher. Thank
sweetheart.
you,
Bye bye.
everyone, for joining.
Yeah, thank you for joining. It was so much fun.
Yes.
Bye
Bye.
bye.